Welcome to Journey JavaFX. This is season 1, episode 12. In this episode, we are going to working on writing out a text file. All right, let's start it. So the dashboard for this episode is quite simple. Just create a text file through Java. Yeah, here is where we left from previous episodes. I only add some notes here because we are going to need the code in the following episode. For now, I just wanna comment them out. To write out a file, it's pretty simple. We need a object or the library. It's called file writer. Okay, some developers say file writer is the most efficient kind of outputting a text file, but for our purpose it doesn't really matter. But if they say it's very efficient, then why don't we just use it, right? As simple as that. So I'm gonna name the file writer as FW in short. Then I just say new file writer, and over here we're gonna pass in a kind of a text file path, right? And then we're gonna say fw dot write, and then we're gonna pass in the content that we want to output the file. And then in the end we're gonna say close. The close is it's kind of important. It's more like whenever a computer or program interact with a text file, it's gonna create a connection or link to it, and while the connection is in action, it will lock the file, right? So it means if other program were trying to read it or do something to it, it may have some conflict, something like that. By using this close right after we write the text file, it's more like we are closing the connection right away, so the file will be available for all the rest, right? Well, if we don't use it, no big deal for our purpose, but it's kind of the best practice. And also, even we don't use it, when we close down our application, the connection will be break automatically. But again, as the best practice, we better use it. It's not very hard, right? So now we're gonna work on the path part. So for now, I'm gonna create a kind of variable, say string str output file name equal to some value. I'm gonna figure it out in a minute, and then we're gonna have some kind of the content, right? String, we're gonna say text. Yeah, we put in like something like hello JavaFX, right? And then now we are going to passing in the variables, something like this, and then the path. All right, this is supposed to work, but now we got to find a place for this file. Let's try it in episode 2. We're gonna use this path. So I copy paste it here, and then we give it a file name, dashboard.html, right? Then in this way, it's more like well, even if the file name, file extension name is HTML, but it's still a text file. That's the nature of it, right? It's just for different purpose. We name the file as HTML, but in the end of the day, it's just a big text file, right? So now we are going to run it. So our expectation is in this episode 2 folder, we should see a new file called dashboard.html. Let's click the test, take a look at it right here, create it. So once we open it, nothing in it, it's just plain text, hello JavaFX. So now, well, to make it a little fancy, oh no, how about we create a dedicated function for this? Because writing out the file, I don't want to keep repeating all of this. I say if there is a function is available, then why don't we just use it instead of typing them out all the time? So this is a better kind of a use case for functions, for the custom functions. We're gonna create a public function, public or private, it doesn't really matter here. We call it write file, just as simple as that. All right. So then we're gonna copy paste the whole thing into it. Take a closer look. This one, add the signature. For writing out a file, we need a path, right? This one is mandatory. So I'm gonna create a variable for this function, string str output file name, right? And then this part will be useless. So we don't need to declare the variable again inside of the function because it's already declared in the parameter portion, right? So we're gonna keep the same file name for each output file. The reason is like, for my purpose in season 1, I want all my audience have access to my dashboard I saw in the videos, and I want to keep the dashboard file name all the same. So it means no matter which episode you opened up, you always see a dashboard.html file, right? So yeah, I believe that this is a lot easier. So then I'm gonna cut out this part. All right, I'm gonna cut out this part because no matter which folder we want to save this file, the file name is all the same, but it's only fit our season 1 purpose. All right, in real life it could be more complicated. And then we're gonna, all right, just copy paste it here. We're gonna need it in a minute. And then just take a look at another thing. It's kind of the text, whatever the thing we want to write to a file, right? So for this one, we want this content to keep changing, right? So we don't want to write out the same file like every single time. So then I'm gonna create another variable in the parameter section. It's called string HTML text, right? Because we are saving HTML text. It's more like a hint. It can be just the text. Yeah, this one will be more in general purpose, right? So for now, this line will be useless, but we need to pay more attention here. We're gonna say writing out this path. We can either do this or we can do it right here. It's even easier, right? Yeah. We erase another line. So in this way, we are keeping our program as short as possible, right? Okay, so now we have outsourced all the important stuff to the parameters. So how to consume this function? Here we go. We don't need things like this. Basically, if we want to use it, just type it out, say file, and IntelliJ is smart enough to bring out what kind of parameter this function is expecting, even if it's our custom function, right? It will show the first parameter is output file name. So we're gonna put in this part, all right. And then the second portion is for the content. It's more like the thing we want to save in that file. To make it a little bit fancier, these two are no longer needed. To make it a little fancier, we're gonna use the last time stuff with our lovely formatting. Okay, it looks long, but it's fine, it will work. All right, we copy paste in here. So now we have this file, right? When we double click on it, it's gonna show like this, plain text. So now I'm expecting it's more than that, right? So now I'm gonna say run it, kill the thing, we run it again, click on the button. So now we should have a new file. Once we double click on it, yeah, you see all those formatting stuff coming back. And when we opened up the page source, we can see, all right, here is all the stuff. Where does it come from? We passing it in as a parameter, right? So yeah, this is gonna wrap up this episode. The next one, we're gonna working on reading a file. All right, see you in the next one.